everyone, and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk. I'm here with my very special friend, another band kid from college, Dexter. How you doing today?
Hi, I am good today.
That's great. Dexter is one of my favorite people in the world. I know I've said that about Kalandra before too, but honestly, each and every one of you brings my heart so much joy anytime I talk to you. So I'm so excited for this episode. So want to get right into it?
Yes, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So, what is your recent read that you've done?
Okay, my recent read was the Mariah Carey book, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, which been out recently last year. But I have read the whole book. I listened to the audiobook 4 times because the audiobook is fantastic. So because I've been going back and forth from Virginia to Georgia, and so that is a good audiobook to listen to while you're driving. So
Is it her doing the voice acting for the audiobook?
yes, it's her. She's reading the whole audiobook and singing a few songs in the audiobook as well.
Oh shit! The classics, right? It's got to be the
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
Ah, how many times does she sing "All I Want for Christmas"?
Well, she don't sing that one in there. She sings some of the old songs that and some of the new songs that was on her last album called The Rarities, that was with the book. And
Hmm.
so it basically showed, basically, I would say, basically some of the songs who really is her fans, they know like the meaning of the songs, and she basically explained what some of the songs was meant to be.
Okay.
Like off her album, the Butterfly album, the song called The Roof. This too, when you have a chance, it's a very good song. And it's about basically how she met up with Derek Jeter because they used to date back in the day. So it's like a documentary style song. It's very good song, very very good R&B song.
So, what's the fact you learned from reading this book that you didn't already know about her?
Well, I knew basically almost everything about her because I am a Mariah Carey fan. I am a lamb. I don't know if you know that or not because I don't think I played that much Mariah Carey music when I was with y'all.
Well,
Uh,
that explains why anytime it would come up on my Spotify, you would be jamming to any Beyonce song that came on, any Mariah Carey song that came on, especially when we were drinking together. You were just over there like, yeah,
I'm just an equal opportunity of music. That's
right.
why I was in band because I just love music. But I didn't learn that much, but I just know basically more about her family life, her upbringing, which was a very amazing upbringing, and her brothers and sisters, and well, brother and sister, and then her mother, and just her first marriage. It was just basically it's a very good read. If you have not read it, I would say read it. I gave my copy to my mom so she can read it. I had to go buy me another copy, so I actually, Mariah, I bought you 2 copies of your book.
Look at that. How's your mom liking it?
She like it because she's a music freak as well. I don't know if I have told you this a little bit off topic, but I don't know how to tell you that. Like growing up, when my mom like 18 and stuff like that, she used to be like a groupie, and she used to be a DJ as well. Cause my great uncle had this nightclub in town, and so she used to be the DJ of the club. And so
Oh shit.
we have all these like 45 records and vinyl records and stuff like that. And so basically my mom is sitting on a gold mine right now with vinyl records since they came back in style. So so I guess that's my inheritance. But that's how that's how I say that's how I get my love from music because of my mom, because she basically loved music, and she read the book as well, and she loved it, and she found different aspect of things that what the media had put out there about Mariah's life compared to what really did happen.
Right. And that's the thing too with celebrities. that I always try to think is that these people are just normal ass people. They just got a lot of money, but they're normal ass people. And so a lot of times you gotta do the research to see what actually happens. You can't just like read a headline and be like, oh, that's what's going on, especially when a lot of headlines, especially now, are very clickbaity and they'll say one thing in the headline and then they'll actually explain it in the article, but they know that they either have that headline so people click on the article and they get more clicks, or they just see that headline and never read the article and they think that's what's actually going on without knowing the context. So I know
Right.
that there's not just with Mariah, but with like so many celebrities and just regular people too. They I that's one thing that I don't like that the media does, even though like I we need the media and I'm not gonna be like that the media is frauds or anything or like that stuff, like the crazy stuff. But that's
Right.
one thing that I don't like about the media that I can agree with
Yeah, I
on.
miss like the old days. Back in the day, all you had to do is just read the newspaper or listen to the TV. But now you have so many like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, and it's just like it's too much going on now compared to
Right.
back in the day.
You can get your news from all different types of places, and that's why in school I was like, I'm gonna use what sources would work if I'm writing an essay for school. If the teacher wouldn't take it and the works cited, then I'm not taking it as fact. But we could go now into my recent read, which is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. Now, if you guys watched any of my previous Soul Talks, I said kind of like 2020 was like the year of V.E. Schwab for me. I read a lot of her books, The Villain's Duology. I read A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. And then, like, I had just bought her comics as well. And she's become one of my favorite authors at the moment. So it's pretty much anything she gets out, I'm gonna read it. So this book came out November 2020. I started it in December, along with a bunch of other books. So I finally finished it. But this book is about a girl in what is it? She was born in the late 1600s, so 17th century, and in like the very early 1700s.
Hmm.
Uh, is going to be forced to get married. So she prays to a god, and what ends up is like they one of her friends was like, "Don't pray to the gods at night because you don't know what god you're going to get." But she was like praying. It's like twilight, kind of like it's turning night. The sun's going down, so she gets the god of night and darkness, and she ends up accidentally getting into like a spell of where she'll live forever until she decides not to and he can take her soul, but she no one will ever remember her. So she'll go through life. So, like, she could have a conversation with you and me right now. And then
Uh
the second she walks away, you and I will not remember her or that
huh.
conversation. So she
Oh,
goes through life, and you have her. So it's going back and forth between her in the 1700s and her in 2014 New York City. And she's originally from this small town in France. And it's just like you see her going throughout the world. And I read the reason why V.E. Schwab wrote this book is I forget if it was like an art major or an art class that she took. She kept seeing different paintings of women with 7 dots across the face, like 7 like birthmarks, but it looked like there. She was like, it's like a constellation that was underneath, like freckles, but it was constantly in different pieces of art by different artists in different time periods. So she kind of like ended up writing this book that she's this person that no one can remember is the influence of that art. So that artist might do a sketch of her and put the her 7 little dots across, and then
oh, cool.
she leaves. That guy doesn't remember drawing it, but it's there. And so that is what exists. And that was her mark that she leaves to the world, kind of thing. So she finds a way to leave her mark, even though people don't remember her.
Oh wow, I got to get the book then to read it.
Yeah, it's very
It's
interesting. It's a departure from her other stuff because her other stuff is a lot more fantasy. I guess like this has somewhat of a fantasy aspect to it, but it's more of a literary fiction kind of story, but it's really good.
Okay, I gotta get it. Barnes and Noble, here I come. Or we may
I,
sell it at Target.
probably. Hey, and if you could get it from a local retailer, do that. Local bookshops are always need the support.
Of
Although
course, all.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was like always local retail first, but
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, I would try to get a local retailer first, but yeah, but we'll try that.
Yeah, no, I still go to Barnes& and Noble all the time, though. Yeah, I have the Barnes& and Noble card that I think, like, it's I forget how much it is a year. I think it's, like, 20 or $25 a year, so you get 10% off every time you make a purchase. I make that many book purchases that it's worth it for
I
me to get
still
this
do.
card.
I still got the Barnes and Noble card as well, but since I've been working at Target, I have to go to Target because I get my discount. I work
Right.
too hard for my discount, so I
Gotta use that
got
discount.
yep.
We'll talk later. I'll be like, "Dexter, let me use that discount because there's something at Target that I want that is a big purchase item." We'll talk about that later. But we can go now into our next topic, which is our recent TV watched. What have you recently been watching, Dexter?
Okay, my recent TV watches has been Chicago, all the Chicago shows, Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire. We have Prodigal Son. I don't know you know about that. That's a real good one. Law and Order SVU. I'm waiting on the Chris Maloney Law and Order, which is going to be out in April. Um, what else I've been? I just been watching all other stuff. Like I don't even watch reality shows that much. I've been watching like scripted sitcoms and dramas right now.
And yeah, you said too that you were watching The View.
Yes, well, I always watch The View at 11 o'clock. So nobody call me or text me at 11 o'clock when I'm at home because I'm
11
watching The
o'clock
View.
Eastern.
Yes, 11 o'clock Eastern. Because I'm always watching The View because those ladies know how to give good opinions and good fights as well. So and have good guests. And actually The View is actually the #1 daytime talk show this year and
Oh,
last
wow.
year. So they are actually beating Ellen in the ratings, which was
Well,
she
I
was
mean,
number
that's a good
one.
thing. Right now, that's a good thing because I know Ellen's a little in hot water.
Yeah, yeah. Ellen has not been doing good, but The View has been my talk show ever since. They came on when in '97 when I was only in fifth grade. So that's how long I've been watching it.
Wow. In 97, I was 3.
I was in fifth grade. I remember I used to watch it. I used to have to record it on my VCR with a timer. If you don't have a VCR or know about the VCR, that you be
I
the
know about that shit. I know about that. I may be younger than you, but I still know about the 90s stuff.
Yeah, I had to tape it with my VHSs when I used to be at school, but I never missed the episode.
And a little background knowledge for everyone. So we were in marching band together, and I was a fifth year senior, and Dexter was the old man in our group, as we were joking. So him and I were grandma and grandpa to all of because most of them were freshmen and sophomores, right? They were
Right.
so young.
Yeah,
They're babies.
I was 28 at the time when I was there at WKU, and the reason why I said, "Hey, I'm going to college. I'm going to Kentucky. They got a marching band." I'm like, "Why would like maybe I should join it?" And so I did. Euphonium is actually not my first instrument. Um, Trumpet is my first instrument.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I started off playing trumpet because really it was my mom's decision. She said the trumpet don't have that but 3 valves, and that'd be easy for you to play. So euphonia and baritone have 3 to 4 valves as well. But so the reason why I switched to baritone is because when I got in high school, I played tuba my 7th and 8th grade year. I went back and forth with tuba and trumpet. And then when I got in high school, when I got in the marching band, the sousaphone was so heavy for me to carry. I said I was over that, so I decided to play baritone, and so I've been sticking with baritone ever since.
And as a trumpet player, original trumpet player, like you were reading bass clef for the baritone. Like with me, I haven't gone to bass clef still. I was playing treble clef baritone. Like you didn't stay with the treble.
No, because it was easy for me to pick up because my band director at the time, he taught me how to read bass clef compared to treble clef, so it's like it was very easy for me to figure it out.
Well, technically, because I played my baritone like a trumpet, basically. I use the trumpet fingerings because it's a treble clef baritone. So theoretically, I can play the trumpet.
Yeah, because
Theoretically.
you can play the B flat concert scale because basically those are the
Hmm.
same valves.
Right. And I have I think Ashley, who's been on Soul Talk before, she as a music ed major, she's had to play all the different instruments, or at least attempt to try to play all the different instruments. And she liked to collect instruments in her house. Like she would go to like pawn shops and buy. So she had a really cheap flute and a really cheap trumpet. So like I could make a decent sound out of the trumpet after becoming a baritone player. So whereas like beforehand, I was like, I can kind of make a sound. It doesn't sound great, but I can kind of not. But when I fully switched from clarinet to baritone and switched from woodwind to brass, I was like, I can actually legitimately make a decent sound on a trumpet.
True, you can do that. Yep.
Yeah, it's just so small, the mouthpiece. I'm so used to the baritone mouthpiece now.
Right. That's the only thing I like. The baritone mouthpiece is way bigger, and so it was good. It was better for me to actually play low brass instruments compared to trumpet. But I
Mm.
actually did play trombone when I went to another college, so I
But
switched
it's the
off.
same mouthpiece as
Yeah,
the
it's the
baritone.
same mouthpiece, so I was very good. But the slide with those slides with the trombone, I wasn't that good. So
That's why I can't do trombone. It's the slides. I don't know where the placements are. I'm sure I could learn, but I don't want to.
yeah, when I got older, I like, do I really want to learn more instruments? It's like if you had to catch me, if I had went straight to college after high school, the band geekness would probably still in me. But when I took off for those years, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna stick to one instrument and just play it.
It was like, I'm good. I'm good. Well, I know that you've that's been great band talk here, a little
Yeah,
segue. But
a little side talk. But
a little
what's
side
your
talk, a little
TV stuff?
right. So I actually have not been watching any TV at all other than the
What have
Clone
you
Wars.
been doing?
I've been reading, and then I have the movie to talk about later. I've still been talking about watching Clone Wars, but I talked about that like the last few weeks, and then WandaVision. Have you been watching WandaVision on
No,
Disney
I
Plus?
heard about it, but I haven't watched it yet.
You need to do that because when you do, we'll talk about it. But
I gotta put it on my list.
yes, do you have Disney Plus?
No, I don't have it, but
I'll
I'm
give you
black,
my login.
so
It's fine.
yeah, I'm black, so I need somebody else log in. Allegedly.
Allegedly, Disney, you heard nothing. But so, what's the recent movie you've watched?
The recent movie what I just watched today was the Britney Spears documentary, which everybody been talking about it. Um Framing Britney Spears. Everybody been talking about it lately, so I was like, let me watch it today and to see what it's all about. And it made me really feel sad about Britney Spears because I'm not a huge Britney Spears fan, but I know of her, and I always like compared her and Jessica Simpson together because they had like similar aspects in their life.
Right.
And what I learned about the documentary, I learned a lot. I learned like basically women entertainers have really much a harder job to prove themselves compared to male entertainers. And so that's one thing I learned. And the whole Justin Timberlake ordeal, he really didn't look good in this documentary. It really painted him in a bad light, and it just made
Well,
me not like Justin Timberlake at the moment. And
So you got some beef with Timberlake at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to me crying me a river no more for a bit.
It's a good song, though.
It's a good song, but as well as her conservative strip, all that legal stuff, what she's going through, she can't, access her finances. Everybody saying like literally this woman can go up and do a whole stage performance, but she cannot handle her finances. And that's the whole free Britney movement is. And I just think it's real strange that her dad is still playing a role and holding her hostage, I would say.
Mhm.
And I just think she needs outside people to handle her stuff. But you got to watch the documentary. It's on Hulu. Um, but it's a must see documentary, I would say. But it made me really feel bad about Britney Spears at the moment. But we love Britney. I may have to listen to Oops, I Did It Again. Um, Toxic is my favorite Britney Spears song, I
Toxic,
would say.
yo, when I was in 5th grade, Toxic was my jam. Like, I would listen to that so much. I know I'm making you feel old,
You
I'm
make me
sorry.
feel so old because literally Toxic came out when I was a junior in high school.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But, one thing that recontextualized Britney Spears for me is I was watching I forget what award show or something, but she was in people were wanting to take pictures of her, and she was with her sons, and one son was, like, all about being in front of the camera, and the other one, like, did not wanna be, and so, like, she, like, bends down to him and was just like, "If you don't wanna be in front of the camera, you can," like, kind of like being nice to the kid and be like, "You don't have to do this. You don't
Right,
have to be here with mommy. If you wanna go over there out of the limelight," kind of thing, "you can go stand over there and wait for mommy and your brother, and then I'll be right there, like, in just a little bit." And I was just like, that so you can see even, like, after because she's dealt with mental health issues and all of those
right,
things, that the fact that she can see it in her sons and know, like, okay, one son is, like, totally about this and wants to be in front of the cameras and the other one doesn't, and she's going to let her kids decide which venue they wanna make.
right. And I don't know if you remember when she was photographed having the baby in her lap and they made a big ordeal on it. And then, but when Michael Jackson had his son hanging off on the balcony, they made a big deal of, but they looked like they made more with Britney Spears driving in the lap with baby. And she said like her dad used to do the same thing. My mom used to do the same thing with me when I was
Yeah.
little.
That
So,
what's so crazy too is like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that for safety reason, but how
right,
many of us sat in our parents' lap pretending to drive the car?
right.
Like, and the other thing too, I saw it was like a year or two ago. I think it was in 2019 before all the craziness. It feels like 50 years ago, 2019. But it was Pink, and she was outside with her kids, and her kids were barefoot, and people were giving her shit for her kids being barefoot. It's like, kids can be fucking barefoot, leave her alone. Like, damn.
Right,
And then
right,
she basically like she's like, I feel like I don't want to post about my kids anymore on social media, and she stopped posting pictures of her kids for a few months because people were being shitty about her kids being barefoot.
right. And I just think like I said earlier, like people like I think the media really judge women more harsher than men. And coming from a man myself, I'm just it looked like it more. And that's why I have a production company for all media. I'm actually looking into producing a documentary about trailblazing women that was in the news, that the anchors like Barbara Walters and stuff like that, because I feel like they don't get they really praise like they should do.
Hmm. I know. I feel, and then the thing too is, I forget which news anchor did it, but this guy, he was just like, I'm gonna show how different it is to be a man and a woman, like, in front of the camera. He wore the same suit every day for a
Yes, I
month
remember
or
that.
something like that, and no one noticed at all. But obviously, you're gonna notice if a woman's wearing the same thing every day, kind
Right.
of thing.
Because a
And he,
man don't have like the man only have like a few different choices of suits to wear,
right.
like literally. but women get scrutinized. They wear like the same thing, probably like in the same week.
Yeah. And it's funny too. It's just like if you wear this, like you wear something and then you wear the same outfit like a week later, and people will be like, "Are you wearing the same thing?" And I was like, "I have this thing called a washer and dryer. It works
Right,
really well."
right. Of course.
Right? Well, my recent movie, and honestly, I was waiting for my mom to get ready for us to like go shopping. And so like it was the end of the movie was on, and then I rewatched it the full thing when I got back home because I forgot how much I love this movie and how funny it is, and that's Head of State with Chris Rock. And I made a joke to my dad. I was like, "How many times did Obama watch this movie when he was running for president?" Because it's about the first black man running for president, and then he becomes president at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert for a movie that's now what,
Probably like
16,
20.
17 years old.
Yes.
One more year and it can join the military. This movie, but man, this movie's so funny, and the fact that you have oh, what's his name? Let me pull it up. His name, Tracy Morgan as the meat guy, the meat man, just like trying to sell meat off the side of the road. And then you have like the roof is on fire scene where he's getting all the white people to like dance and they're all doing their like white moves. And then he goes, the roof is on fire. And everyone's just like, ah!
I remember that scene. I remember that scene. Now you want to make me go back and watch it over again because I haven't
Oh,
seen it in a
it's
long time.
so funny. And then like the whole thing where he's like he decides to speak his mind because his brother, played by Bernie Mac, like it's like you keep doing the same damn speech over and over again. I'm gonna need you to speak your mind. And he's in Chicago and he starts with the that ain't right. And like he's like, I'm gonna change things up, and he starts doing political campaigns and like remember those joggers? Like
Right?
those like velvet jacket pant
Those little
combo.
suits.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted one of those suits, and I never did get one. I always asked my mom to have one, but she never did buy me one, and so I always wanted one. So maybe one day I will have a little suit. Maybe I need to go to a
Yeah.
vintage shop.
And he's driving the bus with like the girl that he's trying to impress and goes, "That's the treasury. That's where Oprah counts her money." Like 1 trillion, 2 trillion goes, and she's like, "Hi, Oprah." Man, if you need a good laugh, it's super funny. And just you have Chris Rock, Bernie Mac, you have Tracy Morgan. And what I didn't know until looking it up that this is Chris Rock's directorial debut. He directed and wrote this movie.
I did not know that he directed that movie. That's it. I did
And
not know
it's so pure Chris Rock that it's like, of course he did.
that.
But it is so funny. Like, if you have not seen it, go see it. If you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it. Cause like there was scenes that I was like, oh, I remember that. Like, I haven't thought about that scene in so long, and I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
Yeah, that was a I. It been a minute since I've seen that movie, but just look at what today's have come. Like that movie been out, but for over like close over to 15 years, and we
Yeah,
actually did have a black president, and
right.
so it's like,
Since then.
yeah,
Yeah, it came out in 2003. So you have 5 years later, we get Obama.
yeah,
Uh,
a proud moment.
hmm And like they're even talking too where because he wins for the 2004 election, and then like the white guy who's played by let me check what's his name? James Rebhorn, who plays Senator Bill Arnett, who's just like, well, I want to be the candidate in 2008. So it's kind of funny now, like, because when I first watched it, it's like the future and you don't know what's going to happen. And now, like, it's the past. The same with like, Legally Blonde. When I first watched that movie, like the date that they graduate is like a few years in the future from the actual date that the movie came out, and then now it's in the past.
Right. Well, Legally
Yeah.
Blonde is one of my favorite movies. That's on my top list of favorite movies, but I like that. But like you say, like it like kind of like predict the future a little bit. It's
Mhm.
like The Simpsons does the same thing, and they really do come true. Just a little side topic. One of the episodes of The Simpsons actually did have Lisa become president after Donald Trump. And it's so amazing because we have the first female vice president,
Right.
and she wore like Lisa wore a pink dress, and on inauguration day, Kamala had on not pink dress, I mean a purple dress, and
Mhm.
Kamala had on a purple dress as well. So it's
Yeah,
like
no, I love seeing all the women in purple. It was so good. And then the poet laureate, she was
yes,
so good. And yeah, good day. Like I wrote it on my calendar. Like I was just like, this is a good
yeah.
day.
I was supposed to come. I was supposed to go to the inauguration, but all the stuff happened in DC, and DC was closed down because I live in Arlington, and so I'm only 7 minutes from DC,
Mhm.
and so all the stuff happened before then, and everything was closed down. Like literally, nobody could not go to DC at all, and the only way that you can go to DC if you lived in DC, you had to literally prove that you lived in DC to go to DC.
Right. There was one of the congresswomen who said like I live 5 minutes away from the Capitol. And she goes, it took me an hour to get to work, like because of all the security and all of that, and just trying to get in to the Capitol building after what happened.
Yes, but yeah, but I haven't been back to DC yet, because it's hard for me to drive over there. But I have to do the metro, so I've been working so much, and so I haven't got a chance to go back to DC to take in some of the sites that you can in the
Mhm.
COVID days.
Yeah, it was 2018 was the last time I was in DC because that was when I was working for a company that's headquartered in Arlington. So like I was did my training up there in Arlington, even though like the position was down here in Florida. And so like I just like hopped on the metro and went around DC with Ashley because Ashley's up in Baltimore, so she drove down.
Okay, yep, yeah, yeah. Arlington is a good place to live. I love my apartment. Like literally, I'm like right in the middle of everything. I can walk. Literally, before I came on to talk to you, I literally just got finished walking from Target because I had to pick up my pickup order because literally I live next door to a Target, but not the one that I work at because I cannot work next door to where I live at. They're just too close to comfort. I
Oh man, that would be so I literally like again, sidebar here. I lived literally like down the road from where I work. It's like a 10-minute drive
The only
down.
thing is for me, if you live like next door to your work, you can't use excuse if you late. They gonna say,
Right.
"Why you late? You only live next door." So
True. The only people that's gonna know, do they really like they see your address to see, but they don't remember that address. They don't need to know you live right next door. But like literally, when I worked the other way, right next door when I was working at Banana Republic, they didn't. They kept forgetting how close I lived to. I was like, I walked to work, and they're like, you walked to work?
yes to the Banana Republic.
Yeah, to the
I worked
Banana
at the
Republic.
Gap.
Yep, hey,
All
same
the same
company.
family.
Yep, go to Old Navy. It's the same shit.
yes.
Like literally, what will cost $60 at Banana Republic will cost $40 at Gap. Will cost $20 at Old Navy. Literally the same exact thing, but it's cheaper at Old Navy.
Right, right. And the funny thing is, I never did shop at the Gap when I worked there, even though the employee discount is amazing, 50% off. And I always went to Old Navy. I
Yeah, no,
never did go to the
for
Gap.
real. I sometimes got like the stuff from discount. because like I think what was it 25% off extra on the discounted rack,
Yeah, on the
whatever.
clearance. Yeah.
So yeah, like I would get some good deals there at Banana Republic, but yeah, I mostly used it at Old Navy as well. But we'll go into my anything extra, and this is a comedian that I just found literally today.
Okay.
His name is Jose Sardui, and he is Cuban American with a non-Latino last name, so I relate. My last name's Govin. It's not very Latino, but I am Cuban. He was born in Cuba, and he's a comedian and also former Air Force pilot. And so they joked, they were like, oh, people are usually like, he's in the Air Force? Goes, shouldn't he be in the Coast Guard? And they were like, you don't want us in the Cubans in the Coast Guard. It's like having Mexicans in the Border Patrol. Goes, let them in. It's my family.
That was a
but
good one.
but he talked about how when he was living in Texas, how he was going to his girlfriend's house to meet her parents, and the parents were like, oh, you're thank God your name's Jose. Goes, we thought you were like, and then they're like, yeah, because I'm a like white passing and my last name's Sardui, like people are like, your name can't be Jose, you look like you could be a cop. Like was like his joke. But his all the comedy that I watch of his, it's I think he has specials. I haven't seen a full special, but there's YouTube videos of him. Dry Bar, I think, is the name of the YouTube like channel. Like, so I guess he did his special there, and man, it was so funny. And like, there was things that I could relate because being Cuban American, but then there's other things that like I couldn't relate to, but was he still told the story really funny, like about being an Air Force pilot and like the stuff that he's had to do in the military. Although like there's always times that he brings it back. Like he was talking about there was one time that he almost had to uh like fly cages full of chickens.
Oh.
And then he was just like, thankfully they didn't have me do that because I was born in Cuba and I would have been in the back going, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh my God. Oh my
Goes,
God. That's funny.
I got my money on the red one. We call him Mike Tyson. He likes to bite.
Oh my God. I gotta look him up. That is hilarious.
I'm
Hilarious.
I'm
Like
I'm gonna send you his stuff.
oh my God. It's like no, like I have like I used to go to comedy clubs. I miss it now because we can't
Mhm.
go since COVID. It's like oh my God, these like literally we need to hurry up get back to normal because I miss them going. Like I miss them going to comedy
Right.
clubs, drag shows. It's like I miss all that.
Yeah, another funny one too is so he was born in Cuba, and the reason they came to the United States is because his dad was a political prisoner. He goes, so I grew up thinking my dad's a hero. He was fighting against communism. And then he goes, when I actually heard the story, it goes, my dad's like, no, no, like there was this big titty girl who told me to go to the rally, and so I went to the rally, and then I got arrested. And then he goes, and then my mom's just like, your father was in jail for 7 years, but goes, but I conceived you. We had you in the 6th year, and then he goes, so I'm a conjugal baby. I was
Oh.
conceived conjugal visit. He goes, any other conjurees out there? Conjies? Nope, just me.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Go. I'm sure I am bombing what his act like as funny as it actually is. It's much more funny than I'm explaining it, people. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it justice, but it's hilarious. Go watch his stuff.
I got to go see that. That's just very funny. We all need to laugh during these times, though. So that's good for comedians.
Well, I've loved having this conversation with you today, Dexter. I love seeing your face because usually we're just messaging each other, or I
Yeah,
was off on your podcast. So, want to plug away about your podcast and where people can find you?
Yes, American Discussions, the podcast. Soul is actually on the second episode, and we talk about the election, what happened. It's the highest episode audience episode. So
Hey!
yeah, but you can catch it on everything, every podcast where you listen to all your podcasts except iTunes. Apple Podcasts is not carrying at the moment, but we still love them. So, but Spotify, everywhere you can watch podcasts, listen to podcasts, you can listen to it in your car, have a good laugh. We're coming back March the 5th with new episodes, American Discussions. Get into that. Okay?
There you go. And then the people can also find you on Twitter at Clements_Dexter. Any other place they can find you?
Just on Twitter. That's the only thing I share public. Instagram is private, Facebook is private. I'm just that kind of guy. But catch me on Twitter. I tweet a little bit, but I don't tweet that much until I have something to say.
And you always want to be there for those gems, people, because when they pop up, they're gems.
Right. You would love if you go on my Twitter, you would love the one that I did about the view. Actually bring up the view because a little side note right quick. The view was scheduled to come on at 11 o'clock, but the network canceled the view for that episode for today because of the parade that was in Atlanta because the soccer team won. And so I tweeted Channel 2 and they tweeted me back because I was mad because they took the view off for that day. And they told me that it was going to come on at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I told them I wasn't going to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But you can read that tweet at Clements_Dexter.
There you go, people. There you go. Well, you can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram. You can find me here every Wednesday for Soul Talk, every Saturday for Get Sweaty with our wonderful producer in the background, Ben, and the other boys out there of 50 Shades of Geek and Matt Majot, the underscore soda underscore saxman, I think, or something. Soda the saxman, something like that. I forget his actual Twitter thing. He goes by Soda and he plays saxophone. And he's Canadian. That's all you need to know. But go check those out. I'm also every Saturdays on the Ultimate Schmodown Show over on John Roca's YouTube channel. So go check those out. We have some special guest lineup if you are a Schmodown fan. So go check those out. And we'll see you next week. And bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.